On our channel, we talk to you all the time about how we save money on groceries. But today, I'm going to talk to you about 10 other ways we save money in the Bealles household. Hey everybody, it's Amanda, and I am very excited today to tell you about all the different ways we save money. If you guys don't know, we are so cheap, y'all. Maybe cheap's not the right word. Frugal is probably a better word, because there are things we do spend money on. Maybe we'll talk about that another time. But there are some things that we do to try to keep our expenses down to as low as possible and live off of the income that we have. Rick and I have actually been talking about, after we get our taxes done this year, maybe even doing a whole video series where we share like how much we've made, what we spend money on every month. If you want more details, let me know down in the comments below and we'll maybe talk about that. But today we are going to talk about some things that we do to really keep our budget tight. So I'm going to give you a list of some things that we do, and maybe it'll help you if you're trying to cut back this year to really bring your budget numbers down to as low as humanly possible. One of the first areas that we save money on is haircuts. Now, I mean, you can see my hair. It's pretty long and I don't necessarily have the most stylish haircut, and I do not color my hair, and my husband doesn't color his hair. And you know, these grays are popping in, you know what I'm saying? That's okay, because I'm liking my gray. I'm like embracing it. I'm embracing my 40s, and I'm just thankful that I get to experience them, right? But we don't spend money on haircuts almost at all. I probably get my hair professionally cut, and that's only because no one else in the household has been able to, you know, really they could, but they won't cut my hair. But I probably get a professional haircut once every probably 2 or 3 years. I'll cut it kind of shorter, let it grow out, and eventually it'll be so long, you know, down to my behind or something, and then I'll chop it back up. But I really don't spend money on haircuts for anyone else in the family. Brianna in her entire life has probably had 3, maybe 4 professional haircuts. And the guys, I have cut their hair since the boys were little. And Rick was probably in his early 20s when I started cutting his hair. So we save a tremendous amount of money on haircuts alone, because we did grow up, well, I guess my kids grew up with 3 guys in our household, and just keeping their hair cut and trim every 6 weeks to keep it nice and, you know, smooth and, you know, the way they like it would have cost a pretty penny. But over the years, since I have been the one doing the haircuts, I think we've replaced our haircut kit maybe once or twice. So we have spent very, very little on haircuts in our house, and everyone always looks nice and neat. I actually think I have a haircut video, and I'll try to link it here if you guys haven't seen it, where I cut Ricky's hair. And you can see how I do it, and I'm not a professional, but I have cut everyone's hair, and every time we go out in public, you know, no one, I think, looks at them and says, oh, your mom cuts your hair. You know, it's always been, you know, perfectly fine for them to just go around with normal haircuts and everybody's fine. So it's one thing that you might consider if you're spending a lot of money on hair care, an area that you might be able to cut back and just embrace the natural highlights that you have, that God gave you, and just a simple hairstyle. I'm usually, if you guys see me on videos, I usually just kind of pull it out of my face. I am from the era that has bangs, and I will always have bangs, but that is a personal choice that has literally nothing to do with the fact that I cut hair. But like Brianna's hair, she doesn't have bangs. So this is just, you know, if you can embrace simplicity, this could save you a lot of money. I'm just saying, haircuts, it's a great way to go. So another way that we save money is shopping. So we do not ever go to the mall. Never. I mean, if we go, it is a rarity, a complete rarity. Because here's the thing, if you go, you will find something that you need. So the response is don't go. You know, instead of going to the mall, if we actually need clothing, we will usually go to a thrift store. And here's the key. Here's the key with getting clothes at a thrift store. Generally speaking, we don't go when we actually need something. This kind of plays into another area of how we save money, that we try to have cheap amusements. So one of the things we do is we go to thrift stores regularly, and we try to get clothes that we think we'll need coming in the future. Like I try to keep an eye on what's coming in everyone's closet, what they need. If someone needs shirts or someone needs pants, then I'm just gonna keep an eye out. And if I see something that works for them and I see it on a good deal, then I'll pick it up and they'll have clothes. But we don't go to the mall or something and try to have something that's, you know, super stylish or whatever at the full price. We almost never do that. And the thing is, you know, if you've seen my kids, Brianna in particular, she likes to look nice. Brian also, he likes to have name brand things. But even as they've gotten older, they've really embraced thrift stores, and Ricky's as well, all of them. But they like to have their name brand clothes, but they only get it at thrift store, at least when I'm buying it. Now that they're older and they have their own money, sometimes they'll buy it flat out. But the experience that I've seen, because my kids have grown up this way and they see that they can have nice clothes at a cheap price, they don't want to spend their hard-earned money on it either. So they're kind of following in my footsteps in that area. So one way for sure, stay out of the mall, go to thrift stores, and that's a great way to save money. On that note, we schedule shopping. It is on a regular schedule, and I think having shopping scheduled keeps things rolling without pulling at your budget strings. So for instance, obviously with our groceries, we shop once a week, no matter what. And that keeps me from going into the grocery store every single day of the week just to pick up something extra. Because of course, like I said with the mall, if you're constantly going in the stores, you will buy something. That's just the nature of things. But it's the same thing with clothes. You know, if we're going to thrift stores, we're going on a regular basis and we're getting things on schedule. Every week we're going to see what we have, and that way we constantly have a stock here in the house. But it goes with anything. You know, if I see that my furniture is starting to look maybe a little shabby, maybe it needs a little work, you know, maybe I need some new dining room chairs or something, I'll keep an eye out. And since we're going regularly on a regular schedule, if I see something, I can pick it up before we actually need it, and I'm still getting things at a good price, and it works for us. Now, this also works for things that we actually buy brand new. So we have a rotation schedule throughout the year of things that we purchase. Undergarments, things that we purchase new, undergarments, socks, any other kind of items. Like I a lot of times can't find skirts at thrift stores, so I have it on a schedule that every so often I'll buy certain of those items, and that way if I'm buying year round for all of the family members, then I'm never buying for any one particular person at once, and I don't have to buy these big bulk purchases, if that makes any sense. So that keeps our budget down, it keeps it manageable, and since we are on a regular schedule, I don't have these emergency trips that are gonna cost me extra money. And I also can schedule the items to be purchased for times of the year when they're going to be less expensive. For instance, undergarments are always less expensive in the back to school season. They always go on sale. When I buy like towels for the family, if you follow our channel for a while, you know I almost always buy towels and wash rags on Black Friday sales because that's when you get them for like $1. So having a regular schedule really helps you to cut back on costs, and I think it's a great way to keep your expenses down. Speaking of Black Friday, another way we keep our costs down is that we really don't do a lot of gift giving. Now, it doesn't mean that we don't ever give gifts, but we don't give like big extravagant gifts. Any gifts that we give are small or homemade, or, you know, a lot of times we just don't even give an actual gift and just focus on the excitement of the event. For instance, birthdays. We almost never did major birthday things. In fact, a lot of the things that we did were very small when the kids were young, and we tried to make a bigger deal out of the event than the gift. For instance, one year when the boys were little, they talked about this. They still to this day talk about this. We got a deal on some little Pokemon toys. I don't know if we got it at a thrift store, we got it on clearance at a regular store, but we got a bunch of them really cheap, and we decided to make it like what is it called, a little hunt, where we placed them around the house, and we made a little map, and they went around the house and did like this treasure hunt thing. And they talked for years about the treasure hunt. They didn't even care about the gifts. The gifts could have been anything. They could have, you know, just been little like things you get from a gumball machine. It didn't matter. What they enjoyed was the treasure hunt. And so that happened early on, and it kind of taught us a lesson. So we tried to make things an event. So for instance, one year at Christmas, we, if you don't know, we do like the smallest Christmas of probably anybody. We literally try to spend like under $20 a person. Like it's almost a game to try to see how cheap we can do it. But we also try to give each, like for years we try to give it a theme. So one year we did like a Star Wars Christmas, and the biggest gift was that everybody got tickets to the movies, and then everybody got like a $3 t-shirt that was Star Wars. And then we got like Star Wars candies. We always give cereal as a Christmas gift. That is the fact. And so we got Star Wars cereal, and just like a little things. And they maybe got like 4 or 5 gifts each. And on all the gifts we like wrote from Darth Vader. You know, it was just a silly kind of thing, because we don't do major Christmas stuff, but it was just instead of focusing on the gifts and making it a big gift thing, we kind of made it a big event, and we hung out with friends, and we had a bunch of family time. And so gifts aren't the focus, and therefore we're not spending hundreds of thousands of dollars at one time on Christmas. So where we spent, for I think the time we had 5 people in our family that year. I had to think who all was here. We had 5 people in our family that year, so we spent under $100, and we still had a really great time. And again, that's one of those events that everybody talked about for years, and it didn't cost a lot of money. So gifts, definitely a place that you can spend a ton in your budget, particularly if you're talking about your annual budget. But a place that if you cut back, nobody's gonna notice. And I will tell you too, when it comes to homemade gifts, like I just had a couple baby showers and things like that, and I usually give things that I make from scratch, and I'm telling you, people really appreciate when you make nice things from scratch, if you make nice things. So just something to be said. You don't have to do major gifts. Like Rick and I, we never do like Valentine's Day gifts. Valentine's Day just happened. I usually just make a meal and we hang out. Gifts are a great way to cut back and save on your budget, but you don't have to give up the love of the event. You can just focus on the event and the people rather than the gifts. Another way we save money is our cell phones. So Rick and I have had cell phones for several years now. And the way that we did it was very thoughtful, because we didn't get cell phones right away. So that was one thing that saved us. But when we actually decided that we were gonna get cell phones, we paid for them in cash. So we knew we wanted a certain kind of phone, and we saved the money for it. We paid for it in cash, and then we purchased a prepaid phone plan that we buy at Walmart. And it's actually very inexpensive. I think at the most we had 4 people on at one time, because people have rotated on and off for different reasons. But I think at the most we had 4 people on at one time, and we were paying for 4 people, unlimited everything, for $100 a month. And we have really great service. We use Total Wireless if you're interested. We've never had any problem with it, and we've used them for years. And when you're talking $25 a month for a phone, where we have the phone and we have unlimited internet and all of the things that we need, and let me tell you, we're on our data all the time. So that works really well for us, and it has never been a problem. And so what we're not paying every month is, we're never financing a phone, so we're not paying any finance fees. We're not paying the bloated data fees and all of that. You know, we just keep it as minimal as possible. And because we have it on a prepaid plan, we have it to where it automatically comes out of our bank account. I don't even really have to think about it. So saving money on your cell phone is a huge way. I've tried to encourage everybody as much as possible. Prepay your cell phone and pay with the prepaid plan if you can. I'm telling you, it's a great way to save money. I mean, you will save so much, for real. It's a great way. So let's talk about cars, because I think when it comes to saving money, there's kind of 2 major expenses people have in their household. One is their car and one is their house. I'm gonna talk about my house in a second. But there's a lot of ways you can save money on your car. And just like the cell phone, the very first thing that I recommend, and the thing that we do, is we pay for our cars in cash. Financing a car is expensive, you guys. And I understand cars are expensive, and I understand that it takes time to save the money and put it aside. Believe me, I do. But I am telling you, the very best thing that you can do is to pay for your car in cash. Those finance fees are killer. And not only that, if you're financing a car, you usually have to pay for higher insurance costs, and it's just not a good thing, I'm telling you. And then if you've bought a new car, which I really hope you don't do, then you're paying an inflated cost up front in addition to that. So I'm telling you, used cars in cash, you can get them low miles, you can get something that looks decent, something that works for you. I mean, I literally, when it's time for us to buy a car, I will think about all of the different features that I'm interested in, and I will have an amount of miles that I'm willing to have on my car, and then I will go look for whatever vehicle has the features that I want, the mileage that I want at the lowest price, and that's what we buy. We don't really care what it looks like. We don't care what color it is. If it fits the bill, it's ours. So we're really not choosy. It's all about the bottom line, and that's worked really well for us in terms of saving us thousands of dollars over the years. So I highly recommend that if you can do that. Another thing that you can do with your vehicles to save money is to have fewer vehicles. Now, we have for many years shared one car. And I don't think that's always the best. I think it's good to have a backup vehicle. We have always had extra vehicles in our household because we've had different drivers in our house in the recent years. So it's kind of worked out that if we needed to swap or do things, it's worked out well for us. But the less cars you have, obviously the less that you're paying for a vehicle, the less that you're paying per month in insurance, the less you're paying for gas, the less that you're paying for maintenance, tires, oil changes, all of those things. And again, we're talking thousands of dollars. I might be saving $20 a month on doing haircuts at home, but saving thousands of dollars every year that I have a car is a way better savings. A lot of people enjoy having extra vehicles just, you know, hanging around, and they like having them, they like looking at them. I like having money hanging around in my bank more than I want to have an extra car. So that is one thing I would definitely recommend, is to have less vehicles, as few as possible. And if you have someone that you could share with, like a secondary car, that'd be awesome too. But honestly, if you can go down to one car, that is like a great way to save thousands of dollars every year. Speaking of vehicles, another way you can save money is in your gas tank. You guys, stay local. I'm not kidding you. And I'm not talking just about your entertainment, like if you want to go out and have a good time, staying local, which I think is a really great idea. And we actually try to do that as often as possible. But sometimes you want to get out of town, so I understand that. But I am talking about your job. Now, we're originally from the Washington, D.C. metro area, and a lot of people there that I know commute so many miles, and I understand it. I understand the housing market and the way things are. I get it. But I'm telling you, it's going to come with another one of my recommendations. If you can stay local, if you can stay within like 10 minutes of your job, do it. You know, even if you got to spend a little bit extra on your housing, because I'm telling you, we all have to make choices. And this is one that you really should weigh carefully, because it's not just about the money here. It's also about the time that you spend of your life and your mental stress of all of that driving. You guys, I'm telling you, saving that money on gas is also going to save you just peace. You're gonna have so much more peace in your mental bank that you're just gonna be glad that you did it. But just in terms of the finances, gas is super expensive and prices are going up. Prices are going up. Stay local. Stay local for your job, stay local for your entertainment, and you will save so much money every month. I mean, seriously, watch your gas mileage, pay attention to what you're doing, and add it up, and you will see how much it benefits you. Find some things that you like to do in your hometown and make that your new thing and you'll save tons of cash. So on that note, let's talk about living rural. So like I said, we are from the Washington, D.C. metro area, and just living in a suburban or even urban area, the cost of living is so high. It is so high. And if you live there, then you know it is so high. And I understand that when you live in a suburban or urban area, your income goes up significantly higher as well. But having moved from an urban suburban area to a rural area, I understand that was one of our fears when we moved here, that our income was going to drop so significantly. And our income did drop, but the cost of living is so much lower that even though we're making less money, we're still doing better in the long run. So if you can handle living rural, let me suggest to you moving. And because when we're talking about making changes like that, again, this isn't just saving $20 a month on a haircut. You're talking now tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars that you're spending per year just in making that kind of change. Again, it's probably going to impact your income, so you're going to lose some money there, but the money that you spend, it's going to balance. It's going to more than balance. I'm telling you, we have more money left over every month because of our choice of living area than we would have ever had we stayed in the DC metro area. So consider living rural, and that I think will save you a ton of money. And the thing that saved us the most money over the years is how we purchased our house. We bought a house as a foreclosure, and I would highly recommend that you do that if you are purchasing a house. I know everybody, when they go out and buy a house, they want to buy it in move-in condition. Our house is not in move-in condition. We lived here about 7 years now, and we've done work to it up until now, and there's still some work that needs to be done to it. It's a couple of big things that we've been kind of holding out on. But even so, we have literally, I mean, we have over $100,000 in equity in our house, and that is not a small amount of money to us. So I will say the biggest amount of money that you can save is when it's making the biggest purchase you will ever make, and that's buying your home. Choose your home wisely. Buy something that has some equity, maybe needs a little work, put a little sweat into it over the years. You know, your home, if you choose well, if you choose it in a good area, like I said, maybe something that's very near your work, something rural and inexpensive. It could be something that you could have for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, your whole life. So choose well, and choose something that you can do something to, that's got potential, that you can see yourself living in for the long term. And if you do that and you pay things off well, then you can save more money than probably anything else on this list. Look for something that needs a little work. It needs a little TLC. Like I said, it still does, not perfect, but the hundreds of thousands of dollars. You guys, it's the biggest expense of your life. Choose wisely. Don't go for the big, you know, white kitchen with the granite countertops. Don't do it. Go for something that you can put that in yourself cheaper later on when you can. I'm telling you, save yourself that money. Thousands of dollars. I probably have so many other tips. I mean, just the money that we've saved on, speaking of the money that we saved on big items, savings on college. I mean, I could do a whole video on how to save on college. I'll have to do that for you. But I mean, there are so many ways that you can save, especially on those high ticket items in your life. Choose wisely. Choose wisely. And that is how you're gonna save money in your household. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed my video. These are just 10 ways that we have saved money in our house. I hope it's helpful to you, and then you can start looking around at ways that you can save on your budget this year and cut back and maybe get by on less, put a little more in the savings, pay off some debt if you have it. We're completely debt free except for what's left of our mortgage, and we really hope to pay that off as quickly as possible. I encourage you to do the same. Get yourself some financial security in these uncertain times, and you'll have a whole lot more peace. So anyway, that's it for today. Thank you for joining me, and let me know down in the comments if you have any other suggestions for people for how they can save money. So, all right, you guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time.